Albert, why don't you start by introducing yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Hello, I'm Albert Marin Garau. I'm from Spain and working right now in Killing Time in the art department with Joel Welsh as well. And well, I wanted to express that I'm really happy to work with this in this game because this is a really special experience to have this all kind of backup data we receive. And it's really strange to have this kind of stuff from a game from 1995.
For those people that don't know, can you explain what Killing Time is?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, this game was first. It's an FPS, so
Yep.
so the typical Doom-like game, and well, it was first came out for the 3DO, and later, one year later, I think it was released on the PC. But both games were really different versions of the same title. So it's quite interesting because people maybe don't know that we are working on the PC version of the game, which we decided it had the most interesting stage maps.
Yep.
So we decided to go to that road. And in terms of art, I'd say it was a decision after decision work because we received a lot of backup data, but it all was from the 3DO version of the game.
Okay.
So we had to deal with working on a part from the PC version, but having the 3DO assets. Because in terms of stage textures, lots of the assets were used in both PC and 3DO versions, but some of them were exclusive to the PC port, and they needed to be remastered to match the other textures quality. So we upscaled and painted over them, but we were looking at the textures of this game, they all look like they are hand-painted.
Right.
So it was relatively easy to improve the lowest resolution textures, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah. What tools are you using? What does that process look like from taking those old assets? Are you importing them into Photoshop or ZBrush or what is it?
Yeah, no, it's all Photoshop work.
Okay.
So it's quite straightforward, but the problem is they are a lot of textures.
Right.
I'm sure the players will notice all the love and work behind those textures. So I hope because they are 4 times the original size.
Right. So yeah, you're blowing them way up.
Yeah. I think it was 2 times the original size for Dark Forces, for example.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any kind of backup data. But
right.
This is why this title is so different, because we have a lot of data. Even the title is so old, so it's been really fun to remaster something we had all those backup assets.
Yeah, is that not normal around these parts?
It's not normal for a title that old. So, well, in fact, there was even some corrupted files, but we were looking, they are duplicated files everywhere. So taking one file from this disk and from this other, we almost got everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what advantages do you have when working with some of those backed up assets? I mean, like you have a reference point for one, but are there any other advantages that, someone, an artist wouldn't think of?
Well, since they are the 3DO assets, there are some of them that weren't used for the PC version.
Okay.
Since we are doing some minor and some major stage edits, we are taking the advantage to use some of the 3DO assets that were not part of the original PC port.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we could say in brief that we are taking the best of the art of the PC version and the best of the art of the 3DO and packing it together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the Night Dive way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so cool.
And the Night Dive way is also giving the opportunity to the classic players to play with the original assets. So it will be an option in the game.
Oh, nice. You guys are gonna allow that toggle, hey?
Yeah.
That's always fun to see because for the limited amount of stuff I've seen just on our Discord there, like you said, there is a lot of art to do because each of the character sprites would you have to account for them turning left and right, and that's a totally different asset than them like looking at you straight on?
Oh yeah. Then we have all the enemies assets, all those sprites. This is a completely different story. Uh, because we had the textures that I mentioned that a lot of them are shared with the PC and 3DO versions, but the enemies are completely different.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So how do you decide where to start? Like, how do you decide what to tackle? What does your day-to-day look like?
Well, the big decision was the first step. So we were doing the PC port, and I was thinking to myself, oh well, we received the 3DO assets. So what are we gonna do with that? Because the enemies are different.
Yeah.
They are different in a manner of speaking because they could be the same enemies, but the 3DO version and the original artist took photos to real people, like in Mortal Kombat, for example.
Right.
But the PC version, it was simply 3D renders. So they were the same enemies from the biggest part.
Yep.
But completely different amount of sprites, of angles. Everything was different. Only the idea of the enemy was the same.
Right. The way they sort of feel of them is very similar. They might look different, but the way they act is the same.
Yeah, there's a gangster, there's a skeleton, there's a mate, etc.
Right. Cool. So, like, are you sitting there with a reference of a photo, a reference of a sprite, and then the thing you're making? Is that kind of how you're working?
Yeah, well, there's still a bigger problem than what I mentioned. This is that the PC version has some exclusive enemies.
Right.
And we have absolutely zero backup data for them. So what to do when you have a lot of backup data from the 3DO version and zero data from some other enemies? So we took the decision of simply recreate them all from scratch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that exciting for you?
Yeah, because I really wanted to do some 3D work on this title, even if it was just to ultimately render the work. But yeah, it was really fun to recreate assets, modeling, sculpting, then doing the retopology, rigging, skinning, posing them, and then doing as many renders as needed for each camera angle of the animations.
Yes.
And make it match with the PC version. For those enemies, we didn't have absolutely any backup data. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
you're like a digital archaeologist.
Oh yeah, well, the biggest archaeologist here is Joel Welsh, our friend.
Yeah.
I think you know him from the thing.
We chatted with him about the thing and what they've had to do, reinterpreting some of the 3D assets and putting their own spin on things. That's actually really nice that you're able to not necessarily just do a full push on assets that already existed, but give your own creative spin on something a little bit new to the game. Have you done that in any other titles at Nightdive?
Yeah, in Turok 3, for example, it was my first game in Nightdive. Well, it was, in fact, my first game in the industry.
Cool.
Yeah. And it was a very different experience because Turok 3 was a 3D game and it was all textures.
Yep.
We had no backup data. It was all from the Nintendo 64 ROM.
Yep.
And she found all this, a good part of the source textures the original artists used to create those Turok 3 textures. Thanks to that, we could recreate a big part of those textures the same way the original developments did, but at higher resolution, of course.
Yeah, I remember recording footage for it, and then you said, wait. we redid all the textures, so you got to go do those again. And I was like, that's okay.
Sorry.
No. I love doing that because it doesn't take me very long to film, and it's exciting to see what you change, right? Even the small details of maybe some topology on a model, or just the texture just blending a little bit better because we have such high fidelity now in our games. So I like seeing that stuff. It's very fun and interesting for me. So I always appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed it.
So, anything else on the art side of things for Killing Time on what you've been doing so far?
Well, right now the only remaining thing is the UI.
Okay.
I think this will be the most creative part in terms of doing things from scratch, because we are completely redoing the UI. So I still don't know what exactly will be needed. So this is still work in progress.
Nice.
But since we have all the backup data, we are using those assets as inspiration. So I think it all will get well packed and will look very
nice.
Pretty.
One thing I forgot to ask was, when you're doing on those new the new models you're creating for the PC enemies, how many different positions or camera angles do you have to create?
They are 8 camera angles.
8? So kind of as the character moves, as the enemy moves, you have to account for their position, and that would be each of the camera angles. Okay.
Every 45 degrees.
Right.
And then for each animation, it's from 10 to 20 frames. It's quite straightforward. Once you have the enemy post, you just render and then separate the sprites, resize.
Nice.
Using the correct lights to match the real actors, so they don't clash.
Right. Are you baking the lights into the renders, or because I haven't played Killing Time, I don't know how the lighting system works, if there is one at all.
Yeah, it's for the sprites. I baked all the lights the same way the real life actors were lighted.
Gotcha. Based on those photos.
Yeah, I tried to use the same kind of lights the original artist cast to those actors. Anyway, the difference between photos or renders, it's quite obvious. But I don't think this is a bad thing, because even between the original assets, the styles really clash a bit, because we have the real actors, and then we have, for example, 3D dog. And they are completely different styles completely different styles in the same game. So having extra 3D renders it's not that bad because this game is really crazy in terms of aesthetics.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It's psychedelic.
Yeah, it's like weird dark horror.
Yeah,
but has a
and,
weird like not comedy, but like
yeah,
it's
it's a bit
oddball.
cheap.
It's oddball, right? Like
yeah, maybe
so,
we could say that.
I don't know. Like the closest thing I can think of in the catalog that I've played is like Harvester. Have you ever seen Harvester? Anyways, go check out Harvester. It's an old adventure game. But it's
I think
like really it's not grotesque, but it's like
I remember
yeah.
now. Yeah, I've seen that.
Like super gory and kind of weird and psychedelic, like kind of a trip.
Then you have the music of the game. It's so strange hearing that music while you're attacked by deathly clowns,
right?
And then a duck hunter comes after you, and you have a gangster behind you, and a big mate and a sexy mate following you with.
It's like a bad dream.
It's really strange. So I think the difference between the assets is the meaner of the problems.
right. Can you what's your favorite thing about Killing Time? It could be an enemy, it could be something. Like what's your favorite thing? Did you play the game before you were on the project?
No, I didn't know the game, but I just saw when I start taking a look at it that it was a really strange game, but at the same time it has some kind of weird charm that takes you in. And for example, while I'm testing the game, I see I start killing all the gardeners, for example, and I keep quiet for a moment so I can hear the atmospheric sounds and the music because they are magical for me.
Nice.
But of course, I'm talking from an artistic point of view. So
hey, it's an important one. It's an important one. So
especially in this case.
yeah. Do you have a favorite enemy you've worked on?
Oh, maybe Tess, the final boss.
Okay.
Because it's not been shown yet. Because the final boss is one of the enemies. It's exclusive for the PC version.
Okay, so it's a new asset.
Yeah, I had to recreate that woman that appears in movie format all over the game.
Cool.
And I'm quite happy with the results. I hope the people also like how she look.
Nice. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the audience. Like, what do you think of all the people requesting a Killing Time revival, and what do you think of their reactions going to be?
I really hope, first of all, they are happy with the changes we are doing. Because we are trying to make the playability even better than the original. And also that please play the high resolution version of the game.
Yes.
They can choose play the original version, but I would be really happy to hear from people, from old school people that they like what we did with the new assets, and they enjoy all this work.
Well,
of love and passion.
Oh yeah, definitely a work of passion. Can you let us know something that you're most proud of that you've done with the game, or maybe something that someone might not notice at first glance?
Oh, it's really hard to say. When people ask me what like the most, I always think about the project as a whole thing. So I only can say that the overall work in terms of art, it's been cohesive. There has been no rushes, so
nice.
that's a really good item in the production of a game. And no favorite part. So I always see the entire thing as a complete work, as a
Well, it sounds like you're approaching the art really holistically and as a whole, and that's super exciting because it's gonna have the end product be everything will feel connected. Everything feel like it belongs, even though it's kind of like it's from two different games almost. So
I'm a bit obsessive in this in manner of speaking. I'm a bit obsessive, and when I'm working on something, I'm always thinking on what's left to be done. And I think, well, I have to do this and the other asset, and it's still not done. I want it to be as good as this one. So while I'm working on something, I'm thinking on what's left to be done. And maybe that's the reason I have not a favorite part of the game, because I'm never focused on one thing at the same time. I guess this is an artistic point of view. So.
Is it hard to be done with a model or a sprite? Like, are you the type of artist where you are done but not like finished, not perfect?
Always.
Yes. Okay. Always. From one 3D artist to another, I can appreciate that.
Always. I have to stop myself and tell me, okay, when people see this, they are not going to see more than that. Yeah. Even if I notice that there's something that's not perfect, I have to focus on what people will see and what won't see.
Yeah.
Unless they open the file and start looking all the corners.
Yes, that's different.
And this is not going to happen.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. I really appreciate your time today, Albert. Thank you so much for joining me. And really looking forward to getting my hands on the game.
Thank you, Locke, for your time too.